Carbohydrates have long been used as a tool to enhance either the actual performance of your training session, your recovery post-training, and your muscle growth stimulated by the session. Well, first, carbohydrates can be used for fuel during the session. By being used for fuel, of course, it allows you to do more volume. If I'm eating my carbohydrates pre-workout, they can actually help decrease the cortisol level, the cortisol released. Now, cortisol is a catabolic hormone. If I overproduce it, it can actually decrease how much muscle I'm gaining. These are two things that can be beneficial. Post-workout, they could actually increase the rate of protein synthesis by increasing the transport of amino acids inside the muscle by triggering an insulin response. So there's no doubt, and studies after studies after studies have shown that ingesting carbohydrates around the workout, either before, during, or after, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, or on your neurological profile, can have a very significant effect on your rate of progress. Now, how much do you really need? Not as much as you think. I've used tremendous amount of carbohydrates. I've experimented with 200 or 300 grams of carbohydrates pre-workout or post-workout, and of course I gain more weight, but it's probably more water retention. Now, you only need enough carbohydrates around the workout to get the desired effect. The desired effect is either increasing the amount of fuel available during your session, or enough to decrease the release of cortisol or excessive cortisol during the session, or enough to trigger an insulin response so that you can better transport amino acid inside the muscle, or enough to replenish the fuel that's been used during the session. Now, people grossly overestimate how much carbohydrates you are using during a workout. At the most, if you rely only on carbohydrates, at the most, a guy weighing like me, 200, 220, will use at the most, I would say 40 grams of carbohydrates in a session. And that's from a very high volume of lower body session. According to Dr. Serrano, who's a man I would put my money on, it's even less than that, probably 20, 25 grams. So there's no need to pile on 200 grams of carbohydrates either pre or post-workout. 20 to 45 grams is likely all you need. Not only that, there's an argument that could be made for if I over-ingest carbohydrates, I might actually decrease the release of, the conversion of growth hormone to IGF-1 by the liver. So if my blood glucose level is too high when growth hormone is present in my body, the conversion to the more powerful IGF-1 might be lower. So over-ingesting carbohydrates might make you less anabolic. Now, you have bodybuilders ingesting 150, 200 grams of carbs pre-workout. And that works because they are most of the time using insulin during the workout, which will lower their blood sugar level, which will still allow them to get that IGF-1 release from the growth hormone produced during the workout. So really, most people who are decent size, 40, 45 grams, either before or after the workout, depending on your neurotype and what you're trying to accomplish, should be more than enough. For women, 20, 25 grams should be more than enough. More than that, you might actually have more drawbacks than positives.